So Premier Invest, it developed the concept of a deal room on the sidelines of energy conferences and forums to make sure that actually deals are done. People don't just go to conferences to network. The deal room is an opportunity for sponsors, investors, bankers, companies to showcase their transactions in the oil, gas, and power section that they are developing and that require financing, M&A activity on the continent. So we put together the deal room concept, and this is going to be our second deal room happening here in Brazzaville tomorrow and Wednesday, where we bring together sponsors, investors, businesses in the oil and gas sector who have got projects to enable them showcase their projects to potential investors, showcase their projects to banks, have a discussion on how we can structure the transactions and attract investors and investment. It's also an opportunity for networking, an opportunity for deal making on the continent. You know, I'm going to tell you a very interesting story. I always hear people saying that attracting financing in Africa is a challenge. Do you know the most indebted country in the world is the United States of America? The US government has got more than $33 trillion of debt, of which over 27 trillion of that debt is to the public sector and the rest to the private sector. But can you imagine that just a few days ago, the US Commerce Secretary announced that under the US government scheme, they raised $5 billion in one day by selling 1,000 gold cards. I want to say that it is possible for us in Africa to find African solutions to raise funding to solve our problems. The first thing will be to create the right enabling environment to attract those investors to come to invest in oil and gas transactions on the continent. We need to have bankable transactions. We need to have the right infrastructure. We need to have the right governance. We need to have transparent procedures and processes for getting transactions. We need to attract local capital. There's a lot of reliance on international partners, IOCs, on funding. We need to rely on our African partners. Congo is producing oil, both offshore and oil onshore. The Central African region, the Gulf of Guinea, we're producing oil in Gabon, we're producing oil in Angola, we are producing oil in Chad, in Cameroon, in Central Africa. We've got resources. We've got regional players who've got the experience, we've got the expertise. We have seen how, for example, in Nigeria, the indigenous community have, over the years, built the right capacity, both technically and financially, to manage own oil and gas assets. We need to bring that here. So creating the right local content and enabling environment for Congolese to be able to participate in oil and gas infrastructure is also great. Also, we have to develop our capital markets and tap into the pool of retail funding that exists in our communities, in our countries, to be able to attract investment into the oil and gas sectors. So Premier Invest is working with partners across the entire value chain. So for example, we are advising national oil companies and regulators around building the right regulatory framework to attract investment, which means reforms on the policies, which means facilitation for investors to come. For example, the Congo tomorrow has a roadshow and a licensing round. Republic of Congo is organizing a roadshow and a licensing round tomorrow to attract investors to develop new assets in Congo. So we are part of that to help investors to be able to buy into some of those assets. In the upstream sector, we're also active in M&A activities. We're helping junior operators to come into assets where we see divestments by international oil companies, either by providing pre-export transactions or partnerships with other partners that have got the right experience to acquire these assets. In the midstream and the downstream, we are supporting with logistics. For example, we are looking at a pipeline between Pointe Noire, Brazzaville and Kinshasa, which is going to significantly reduce the cost of transporting refined products into the country and enable that in a safe, friendly environment, we can move product from one end to another end and serve the continent. Also in the oil services area, this is one area where a lot of support is required. Small and medium-sized enterprises can participate by providing oil services to some of the majors who are either onshore or offshore exploiting oil assets. So there's a lot of opportunity in the Republic of Congo for Africans, locals, indigenous, or even international investors to participate across the value chain of the oil and gas sector. Our role as Premier Invest is actually to advise our partners, be they governments, be they large corporates, be they financial institutions or corporates, to actually prepare their projects and make them bankable. So this is a journey. This journey might start by advising them about the regulatory environment, helping them with technical analysis, helping them with financial analysis, helping them with environmental analysis to make sure that they comply with rules, helping them attracting the right technology, helping them attract the right expertise in terms of capacity to make sure that we have the right people who can help you to implement such projects, people who have got a track record, and also finding partners. Partners may be a pool, a mixture of funding. They may come from international sources, which may be banks. They may come from bond instruments. They may come from existing traders who are off-taking. They may come from local banks who participate because they want to have a piece of that transaction. Or they may come from investors. Investors are in the market who want to participate. Also, something which is not done here is that we need to see more Africans in the market risk business, which is hedging, to be able to hedge against future interest rates or future price risks or volatility of the oil and gas businesses that they do.